What's up, Bulldogs? This is like the 5th time I'm trying to re-record this video, so it must be a good one. So anyway, I just wanted to make a video just talking about this, which is the self-improvement industry and just my thoughts on this, right? Because I sent out some emails for Black Friday, and full transparency, I've got a copywriter that sometimes works for me, and he did the Black Friday sale. So not everything was exactly the way that I would have necessarily worded things, but he knows me pretty well. He knows my content. He asks me a lot of questions. He tells stories. He watches the videos, and then he'll tell stories about those things. And so it's pretty damn accurate. It's pretty good, right? Now, obviously, I send emails myself to my email list at times as well, but it does help to have someone to help you to do this, right? Especially when you're doing a Black Friday sale, you got a lot of things going on. So anyway, long story short, I sent out an email, or we sent out an email, and someone had replied to it, and he said here, "Nice bullshit backstory, John. LOL, it's straight from the scammer's playbook, LOL." I'm not going to respond rude to that because, hey, I want to understand this. So I said, "Hey, why do you say that?" And he said, "LOL, everyone in the self-improvement industry uses a bullshit backstory." And he said, "It's the grift, I get it." So I said, "Okay, except I do have a real backstory, but I get what you're saying." And he said, "Well, congratulations, John, but honestly, I don't need some fake guru coaching advice, so have a nice day, buddy." I said, "Okay, really, what do you think is fake? I'm genuinely curious." And he said, "John, I don't have time to explain the in and outs of the whole self-improvement industry grift, but here's a thought. Do you ever see Elon Musk selling courses for self-improvement?" And now, at this point, he had a really good point, right? And so here's what I replied. I said, "Hey, Carl, you do make a great point. However, I bet Elon Musk has invested in buying courses and books for his education. I've invested a ton of money in self-improvement myself, and it's been well worth the investment. How would you learn how to invest in real estate or build a business online if you never invest in learning how to do so? You don't have to, obviously, but it's beneficial to get help." Here's the thing. He does make a valid point, and I get it. And I do understand this idea of that's what the grift is, right? Because there are a lot of people selling courses, selling content online, just trying to make money. If you've been following me for a long time, that I'm against this idea of being an influencer. I think people that want to become influencers are just trying to make money. And there's nothing wrong with trying to make money. There's this thing you have to understand. There's absolutely nothing wrong with trying to make money. You just have to be creating value, giving people value. For example, I literally just bought a course for $97 called the Home Studio Blueprint. And I've already got a pretty good setup, but I'm sure that for the $97 I spent, that I'm going to learn at least one thing about lighting or something about my setup that will make it better. That'll be worth that price. Now, the thing about this to understand is that even though there's a lot of scams, there's a lot of unscrupulous people out there, if you have the mindset that you're open to learn, there's something that you're going to learn. Look, I spent like $10,000 on a LinkedIn course on how to do lead generation with LinkedIn. All right. When I got into the course content was so crap. The videos were so bad. They were so bad. There was unnecessary in length and just not very good at all. Their systems they had in place were not very good. The coaches they had were not very good. But that was well worth the money I spent on it. And I'll tell you why. Is because I spent $10K on it, but I made at least 4 or 5 sales for $5,000 off of that. And I learned something. I learned about how to generate leads from LinkedIn. Now, could I have Googled and found this information for free? Maybe, but it was laid out there for me, and it doesn't matter. I'm not saying that you should just blow 10 grand on whatever course, but what I am saying is that I decided I was going to extract and learn information from this, and I did, and I got my value out of it. And even if it was just probably the whole value I got out of it could have been explained in 30 minutes to me, right? Instead of the hours that I spent watching the course. But it doesn't really matter because I did get the value because I chose to extract that value. And so what I'm saying is that, look, some people are going to be unscrupulous, but it doesn't mean that they don't offer any kind of value. And it doesn't mean that you should shy away from the whole self-improvement and self-development industry, because it is important to invest in yourself and to learn, right? I have invested in a lot of things, and some of those things I felt have been good investments. Some I felt have not been as good of investment, but I've always tried to make the most of it and tried to gain my own value out of it, right? And sometimes the value I've gained out of it is literally just committing the cash to the investment that held me accountable, that made me actually do the thing. I didn't even need the help, but because I put money into this thing, I followed through and did what I was supposed to do. Now, again, I'm not trying to justify people scamming you or selling stuff that's not valuable. Don't get me wrong. People should be selling content that is actually valuable, and they shouldn't be trying to become influencers. I think you get what I'm saying, which is that there's a lot of value, and you should be investing in improving yourself. And I understand that the whole self-improvement and self-development industry gets a bad rap because of this, but it's not a joke and it's not a scam. Like I said, Elon Musk might not be selling courses, but I bet he's bought some. I really do think that he's bought some. And the other thing about that is that where are you really going to learn this stuff, right? I mean, if it wasn't for online courses, if it wasn't for people selling stuff and selling information, I wouldn't be where I am. Like, I had to learn these things. You know, I learned a lot of things on my own, right? I figured out a lot of things on my own, but I also learned a lot of things from information from other people, and it's really benefited me in my life. And we're not just talking about in business, just in general, right? I mean, I've read a ton of books. I've bought a lot of different courses. I've gotten a lot of different coaching in order to be able to improve myself and grow myself as a man. And I consider that money well invested. So it's weird though, because I used to be one of those people that was like, oh, self-improvement, self-improvement books. I used to make fun of that and think, who needs self-improvement? And until I actually started paying attention and I realized, wow, there's a lot that I don't know and there's a lot that I could improve on. So anyway, this is not really a plug for anything. You might be like, oh, John, well, you're just trying to plug something. I'm not even going to talk about the things that I have to offer. What I am trying to get you to understand is that it is worth investing some money in improving yourself and getting down that self-improvement track. You can get lost in that track, right? But it's not bullshit. There is a lot to be said about learning from someone else who's already done what you want to do. That's probably the greatest hack in life. If you got a question for me, email me at john@bulldogmindset.com. I'll see you tomorrow.